Hello Africa, welcome to another edition of AAU Talks on AAU TV. I'm your host, Frank Asefuah, and with me today is Mark Pritchard, who is the General Manager of Point of View International and Zepto Ghana. We will be discussing smart boards for smart classrooms. Mark, welcome.
Thank you very much, Frank.
Nice to meet you. Mark, first of all, I'd like to ask, what are you doing here in Ghana? How come you're here with us in Ghana?
You know, Frank, it's been a long journey. I've been living and working in Africa now for the past 25 years.
Nice.
I've lived in North Africa, in West Africa, in South Africa, and East Africa. In the last 10 years or so in West Africa.
Nice.
And I've been working in a lot of big corporates. I spent a lot of time with Coca-Cola. Then I became the general manager of Nokia West Africa, and I moved back across to East Africa. I was the GM of an ISP called Smile. Then I came back to West Africa, and I joined Microsoft. I was general manager for Microsoft for a few years. But you know, you get to a stage in your career where you've been in the corporates, and really you feel the need to be able to do something that really can touch and have an impact on the continent.
Very true.
So I joined my current company, Point of View, and Zepto Ghana Limited, with the idea that we'd really try to put in place programs that would really have an impact on people's lives.
Okay. Wow. That's really a wonderful journey. You've seen more of Africa than I have myself. That's nice. That's nice. Now, you say you're the general manager of Point of View Africa. Now, what exactly do you do there? What exactly does Point of View?
So Point of View is an international IT company. We've been around for about 30 years.
Okay.
We're very strong in Europe and Asia and South America. And we've always been looking to expand. So a couple of years ago, we opened up our office in Africa. We called it Point of View Africa. First office was in Côte d'Ivoire. Okay. Then we moved to Senegal. And you know, I'm here in Ghana with the local partner Zepto Ghana Limited. So I kind of try to wear two hats: general manager of Point of View and also general manager of Zepto. So the mission of the company is really all about bringing technology to Africa, and Africa to the technology.
Wow.
And it's not about the technology, Frank. You know, because wherever you go in the world, pretty much the technology is there. I mean, if you're in New York, or you're in Tokyo, or you're here in Accra, I mean, the technology is the same. The big difference is how people interact with the technology.
True.
And, you know, I always give an example about Wikipedia. Do you know what the population of Africa is, roughly?
It's currently around 6-10 million.
Oh, a lot more than that. Africans is about 1.2 billion Africans.
Wow.
Okay, so that's a hell of a lot of Africans.
Wow.
And Hong Kong?
Not sure.
Hong Kong is about 5 million people.
Wow.
So you've got 1.2 billion Africans, and you've got 5 million people living in Hong Kong.
Okay.
And you know Wikipedia. Okay. So where do you think there are more entries into Wikipedia? From 1.2 billion people in Africa, or 5 million people in Hong Kong?
I'm guessing the answer would be Hong Kong, but it should have been Africa.
You're right. And that tells you something about, you know, the real opportunity here. It's not just about giving people access to the technology. It's about how people use the technology. You know, we talk to a lot of people here in Ghana, for example. I mean, what do you do on the internet? I go to Facebook, I go to WhatsApp, and this. And that's only really scratching the surface of the enormous potential that the internet and technology can bring. And what I see our role is really to enhance organizations on the continent to be able to bring more, so to enable people to do more.
Wow.
I always give them the analogy of a pencil. You know, in a pencil you can be sitting in a meeting and you can be doodling on the side of the page, but with the same pencil you can write beautiful poetry.
Very true.
It's the same thing with technology. You can use technology to do Facebook, okay? Or you can use technology to really empower yourself.
True.
And bring about great results. So,
change.
You know, that's our kind of mission. It's all about bringing technology to Africa and bringing the benefits of technology to the continent.
Wow, wow. That's a very wonderful mission. And I like the point about bringing the technology to Africans, because we do have access, even though not as much as we would want, but still the access is there, but the usage is what is really the issue. Now, you're talking about all of this, and it seems to be heading straight towards education.
Yeah.
Why education?
Okay, I mean, that's a good question, Frank. I mean, really, when you look at the whole of the market, and you look at the transformation that has taken place, let's say, in terms of transport. You know, the way you move around today is completely different to the way you moved around 100 years ago. 100 years ago, it was a cart and a horse.
True.
And nowadays, you're talking about these drones that you can get in, and you just tell the drone where to take you.
Exactly.
You talk about communication, you know, and communication, the way people communicated 100 years ago is the Alexander Bell telephone and whatever. And today, what have we got? We got social media, we've got every form of communication possible. But you look at a classroom, and a classroom of 100 years ago is not so different to a classroom of today.
True.
And that is our real mission, to try to help in the field of education, whether it be primary, secondary or tertiary, to really bring technology into the classroom, to enhance teaching and learning.
Okay.
You know, education is the most important thing of all.
True.
I mean, you know, there's a statistic that even though 20% of the world's population are in school, or school kids, or at university, those kids are 100% of our future. And it's time to invest through technology in education. And this is what we're trying to do as a company. So we've been quite active. We're active here in Ghana, but also in a number of other countries across the continent.
Okay.
We have programs in place from Senegal to Burkina Faso to Cameroon to Congo. And we're trying to put solutions in the hands of the teachers and the students.
Nice.
Okay? Because the solution, when I talk about the solution, it's really three things. It's about one, it's about the device,
Okay.
which gives the access to the technology. And a device can be anything. It can be a smartphone, it can be a laptop, it can be a tablet. We'll share with you some details about a device that can really have an impact on education just now, such as the interactive panel. So the device is one part of it. The second part of it is all around the content. And the content, we're a partner of Microsoft. As I mentioned, I'm ex-Microsoft myself. And in the world of education, Microsoft is simply the best solutions for education. It's not about giving the kid or the student a device, but it's empowering him through access to things like Office 365, SharePoint, and all these things that can really make a difference to the student and to better prepare him for the world outside. Then in terms of content also, I mean, we put a lot of focus on learning management systems.
Okay.
So in K-12, for example, we're working with a company called Extramarks in South Africa, and they've developed an online and an offline content platform, which makes learning for the students far more interactive. So we're trying to bring, you know, the devices, the content, and of course the connectivity.
True.
Because in order to get access to the technology, you need to be connected as well.
True.
And we work with various partners to be able to bring the connectivity in place. I mean, I'll give you an example. We're working on a program in Niger.
Okay.
And this is a program really targeted at rural communities. And rural Niger, if you know it, it's not too dissimilar to the northern part of Ghana, except there's no electricity, there's no internet, there's nothing.
Okay.
And we were approached by the government of Niger, and they said, you know, how can you help? So we're working on them with a program to bring pre-assembled units that we put it in the village. It can either be a container, a refurbished container, or a pre-packed unit that we assemble at the place.
Okay.
And then we put inside panels like this. We put inside computers and everything. And the most important thing is we provide the relevant content. So we're providing education to kids in Niger who've never had access to education before. Niger is the country in the world which has the average years the student spends at school is the lowest. So we also provide solutions in the field of agriculture and health. You know, because in Niger, there's a huge problem with infant mortality. And this is the type of social impact program that we're trying to make an impact on in the continent. And education is very, very much the focus, because education is the future.
Nice, nice, nice. That's very wonderful. So we've been able to see how we're helping Africa to be able to get the devices, the connectivity,
And the content.
as well as the content. Because it's very important that all these three things come together in order to create a very wonderful core for us to be able to use the content. So, folks, if you just joined me, this is another edition of AAU Talks on AAU TV. My name is Frank Asefuah. I am your host, and I'm here joined with Mark Pritchard. He's the general manager of Point of View International, and he's here to discuss with us smart boards and smart classrooms, how we need to push education to the future and make sure that education can be transformed, just like each and every other sector that has been touched by technology, such as in the field of health, in the field of agriculture. All these things are being touched by technology, but then the classrooms are still the same classrooms from the time of Galileo and Aristotle. We need to change that, and we need to make it work. Nice, Mark. So is there anything else you want to...
Well, I mean, I think what we really like to share with the audience is an example of the technology that we can bring. What we have here today is an interactive panel that we're promoting in education across the continent.
Yeah.
And we're really targeting both higher education and schools. And, you know, we really feel that this interactive panel can make a difference to the way, you know, teaching and learning is conducted in the classroom. As you'll see, it's really like a 3-in-1. It brings all of it together, whether for presentation or whether it for practical, interactive learning. You know, it really is a value-add tool for schools and universities across the continent.
Nice, nice, nice. So, folks, we'll go on a break. And when we come back, we'll see a presentation of this interactive panel and its features and how it can be of benefit to you, your institution, and education as a whole in Africa. Welcome back. I'm here with Sylvester Doe. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you, sir.
Yes. Sylvester is the head of sales and marketing at Zepto, and he's here to take us through the interactive panel and why it is the classroom of the future. So, Sylvester, take it away.
All right. Thank you once again. Right. So today, what are we talking about is about how this interactive panel works. And I will take you through the interactive nature of it and how this fits perfectly into the classroom. So over here, I've opened a presentation, and I can click on any part of the screen, and instantly I get to access the next slide. So this is a classroom 100 years ago. This is a classroom today. There is no difference. It's still the same old table decks, but this is what we want to bring to your classroom. A classroom of the future. And this is where it enables kids, students, wherever you find yourself, to have access to the best of technologies to make sure education is enhanced and we get the most out of every single thing that we do.
Nice.
So this is basically it. With this screen, you can touch every bit of it. So this screen has 20 points of touch. So instantly, I can even pull a board on this and then start writing. I can decide to erase this.
Okay.
And this...
Do you do that only with the pointer?
No. You can do this with your hand as well.
Okay.
So when I click on this...
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah. Excellent. So I can jump out of this. So I can decide to save all this. If we are having a discussion in the classroom, I can highlight. I can also take it off again.
Okay.
So for a classroom, no matter the size of the classroom, what we also have is that we have a magnifier. So instantly, I can move this around the screen. I can enlarge. I can close it up. And I can shut out the whole screen. And then demonstrate whatever I want to highlight for the classroom discussion.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm going to come out of the presentation and then show you some more about this. So this device is both Windows and Android.
Okay.
So you are getting one device that is very familiar. So you can use it just like your Windows laptop or Windows tablet.
Wow.
And also, when I just do this, I have a blackboard in my classroom.
Nice.
So now I can write just like any other classroom situation. So let's say we are having a chemistry class. I've written and underlined. So I can also erase this with the back of my hand.
Nice.
Just like you have in the classroom.
Nice.
So these are some of the features that this comes with. So instantly, you have a mix of the natural feel of writing on a board and also a device that recognizes your hand. Wow. And this device has 20 points of touch. Okay. So what that means is that up to 20 people can work on this device simultaneously. Okay. So you can just try your hands on it, Frank.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's wonderful.
So we can all do that.
Nice.
That's great.
Nice, nice.
So you can erase once again, just as I did earlier on. And also, with this, you can add more pages. So now you don't need to erase everything on the page. You can just add more pages. You can change the background.
Nice.
So you have different colors that you can use. I can choose a blue. I can decide to also add an image. So for a music class, this will be what you'll be using.
Very nice.
All right. So I'll come out of this page as well. Oh, I forgot to mention, you can actually save this.
Okay, okay.
So when I click here, I can decide to export this to PDF, image, or any other file format. I can also save this here and then export it. And the best part about this is that we are looking at a classroom of the future where you are not limited by any set of tools. Okay. So with a cloud storage, what happens is I can just upload this to my Google Drive or my OneDrive, and I can access it at every single place that I find myself.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That will be very important, because if some of the students, you have one of those cloud storage areas, you could just upload the device, the information there, and then they could use it and get it when they get home. That's nice.
That's great. All right. Nice. So I'll take you through another software that comes with this device. Very good. So this is called Note. And what Note is more like your conventional notebook. So just as you can scribble in your notebook, you can also write on this as well.
Nice.
So the best part about this is I can convert this handwriting into proper text. So when I write,
okay,
right there.
Yeah.
So another bit of this is that this can be read.
11.
Nice.
with the same software.
Okay.
So this does not limit you in any way. It actually expands the potentials of you learning.
Yes.
And also, this also comes with geometric figures where you can insert boxes.
Wow.
This is a trapezium.
Nice.
So for a class where you are discussing a figure like this, I can also have dotted lines in here. So instantly, I don't have to be using rulers and all these.
True.
Yes.
True.
So with this page, I can decide to expand this. I can move this around. And I can also expand it.
Nice.
It's not only this. So apart from this very figure here, I can decide to have a math class. So for a math class, I'll have all these tools.
Wow.
And when I click on this page, I can decide to pull out a compass. So I can reposition my compass here. And for me to draw a circle, all I have to do is this. And just draw my circle.
Nice. Wow.
Expand it. And draw another circle.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect circles that we do not get.
Exactly.
That's nice.
So this is one tool for all your classroom needs. And this is not the only part of it. So with the classroom, you get a lot of disciplines. So we have chemistry here.
Okay.
So I can see the atomic structure
Wow.
of calcium. I can duplicate this and have multiples of them. And keep on. I can do so many things with one single tool.
Wow.
And this is what you want to give the classroom. So once again, you have chemistry here. Chemistry, you have your beaker, you have your test tube, you have your
all
flask.
those things.
Every single one of them.
Wow.
Right here. With physics, you have all these tools as well, your ammeter. And I'll take you through a physics experiment before we end this whole show.
Nice.
And also, you have a protractor. You can add all these. So these are all tools that are available on this very screen. And for me to erase this, all I have to do is I can decide to pull this over and everything is gone.
Nice.
Or I can add pages
New
just as I
pages.
did
Very
earlier
good,
on.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. Wow. That's very neat. It helps with a lot of these things that we usually struggle with.
Exactly.
Because more often than not, when you are trying, it's difficult to get perfect angles, perfect circles, and all of those. And even I realized that with the protractor and all those things, it gives you the angle that you're actually taking it. So that makes it a whole lot easier for the teacher as well as for the students as well to be able to really understand. That's
Exactly.
Nice.
So finally, I'll take you to another software on this device called Capture.
Okay.
And what Capture does is that it's actually taking the whole presentation on the panel and making it available for you to access it after the classroom.
Okay.
So this is where you have more of the flipped class.
Okay.
So the classroom is no more about being in the classroom, but it's actually about having access to whatever is being taught in the classroom. So the most important bit now becomes the content.
Very true.
So it's about making it available no matter where you find yourself. So when you open this Capture, what you have here is a recorder. So with this, I can record any part of the screen.
Nice.
So I can squeeze it to this size or enlarge it to the very bottom. And over here, just as I've installed this camera here, I can decide to add the camera for my video. I have a camera, so I have my video here. So for a classroom, we can see everybody who is present in the classroom.
Very true.
And when I click on the record bit of it, so I'm just going to take you through our final. Okay, so I'll start recording this, and immediately I start recording. I can pull out as many tools as I want. So I can go back to my classroom, just as I have here. And pick a color. I can add objects can draw. And with the drawing bit of it, you can choose different types of tools.
Nice.
So you can choose a pencil, you can
Brush.
choose a brush.
A flat nose brush.
Exactly. So there are so many, and you can enhance the sharpness of it and choose as many colors as you want.
Nice.
And you get to do all this instantly.
Wow.
So I also have a keyboard here, which allows me to operate the device no matter where I find myself in the classroom. So upon clicking on this, what happens is every single thing I did on the screen has been recorded.
Okay.
As many tools as I want.
So you can see the video playing here. So for, I'll just stop this now. So for a classroom, what happens is that every single thing the lecturer takes you through is pre-recorded. So instantly you have access to it.
Nice.
And the best part about this is that we don't just leave the students out of it. So if the students want to interact with this same device, what they also have is another software where they can share whatever they have on their device onto the screen.
Wow.
So it's not just about the screen itself, but it's about other devices having access to the same screen.
Okay.
So with this, you can connect up to 50 devices to
50?
it. Yes.
Wow.
Including mobile phones, tablets, and also laptops.
Nice.
And it's not limited by the OS. So you can use iOS, you can use Android, and sometimes Windows on your laptop.
Wow.
So I'm just going to demonstrate how this
do,
works
please do.
on
We
the
want to really
PC.
see that.
All right. So just as you are seeing here, there is a code. And this is possible because of a software called Screen Share Pro.
Okay.
And what this does is when you connect your Wi-Fi to this, it generates this code, and it also makes it available on your laptop or mobile phone. So one screen is going to be projected. So I'll have one of the screens over here. All right. So just as you are seeing, this screen has been divided into two.
Very good.
So this means simultaneously we can have as many devices as we want on this screen. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Nice. Nice.
These are all screens. So if I were to be a student, I know that my study time is 5 minutes from now. I'm going to just switch onto that. So for the lecturer, what you have is you can see whatever everybody is doing on their screen. And as you are standing in front of them, you can take them through whatever discussion there is, and you have it as simply done.
Yeah.
And this bit makes it possible, is possible because you have a lot of devices that are in the classroom at the same time. And you don't only want this screen showing all the time, but you want to see what is over there. And they can also ask questions, and the students also get access to everybody's device. So at a point, what you have is 4 screens over here, but you connect up to 50 devices.
50. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So I can just pull all of these out.
That's nice. I think this will be very important, especially when you are handling a class, you need to teach something.
Exactly.
So you don't need to be going from one table to another table to another table to see exactly what they're doing.
Exactly.
You could just pull up their screen on this, their screen on the main one, and then you could just discuss what the person is doing wrong. You can assess the person, and I think it will be a lot of help for lecturers, so that the legwork and those with the knee issues would be able to avoid all of that and make it very easy. I think this is a very wonderful device that has done with the features. I think it's mind blowing.
Exactly.
I didn't think all these things were possible.
Yeah.
But up to 50 is just enormous.
Exactly.
I was just very happy about it.
And what you have with this device is that even though it looks big, what you have is it's very mobile. So it comes with this stand where you can move it around in the classroom.
Nice.
And also you have 3 sizes of this. You have 65-inch, you have the 75-inch, and then the 86.
Okay.
So you have all these sizes to fit any classroom space. And no matter the audience size, just as I said earlier on, you have the magnifier, which would allow you to show your presentation to everybody.
Nice.
So
nice.
You have all the disciplines in here: physics, maths,
Chemistry,
English, chemistry, and you can also add your own resources to the same presentations. So it makes it very inclusive, and everybody gets to have a better form of education with one device.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's really wonderful. Are there any last words you'd like to say? Yes,
Right.
Mark.
Thank you, Sly, for that. And you know, I hope, Frank, I mean, you've got to look at this really as a device. We feel that this is something can really enhance teaching and learning.
Very true.
Anywhere on the continent. It's a technology that, when used in the classroom, makes studying more fun.
More fun.
It makes it more interactive, and it encourages greater collaboration.
True, true.
So, as part of our mission, as I described, I
Yeah.
mean, to really enhance education on the continent, we really would like universities across the continent to be embracing this kind of technology,
Nice.
to be able to really take us to the next level.
That's
But really appreciate your time today, Frank.
Oh,
It's
thank you.
been
Thank
great
you.
talking to you, and you know, thank you so much for inviting us in.
No, no worries at all. We always want to help the universities in Africa, so we look out for these opportunities and we see how we can assist our member universities to be able to see the best way to go forward.
Great.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sly,
Hello.
thank you very much. Have
Welcome.
a nice day. All right, folks. So this was an interesting part of another edition of AAU Talks on AAU TV. We've had a wonderful discussion with the interactive panel and with Mark Pritchard, who is the general manager of Point of View International, as well as Sylvester Doe, who was able to take us through the features of this wonderful device. We'll come to you another time, and we hope you stay tuned. Have a nice day.